next module I'm going to go into is the search engines. So as we know, Google and Microsoft Bing predominantly are the two major search engines. There are a couple others gaining more traction. DuckDuckGo, AOL is still out there. Yahoo is another big player. But what this will do is a handful of search engine reporting that will help you understand how your website's performing with the search engines. So the first report I'm going to run is an SEO audit. And what this is going to do is it's going to scan my website. It's going to cross-reference my website amongst Bing and Google's database. And it's going to give me some pretty important metrics about what keywords I'm optimized for, how people are interpreting our website, what they're searching for, and even provide some artificial intelligence in terms of reporting on what may be low-hanging fruit keywords that I should consider going after. And then we're going to circle back to a domain audit, the competitors audit, and a keyword assessment here. Okay, so this just loaded up here. So what this is going to do is it's going to provide, I'm going to go through the report rather quickly but thoroughly and explain what you're seeing here. So for an SEO audit, it went out to Alexa, which is a large search engine database, and pulled our bounce rate. Now, you and I both know that if you go into Google Analytics, we'll get a better measure of accuracy on the bounce rate, but from an Alexa database perspective, it's saying that this customer has a bounce rate of 36% on average. Then what it's going to do is it's going to evaluate the keywords that this business has put on their website. So the business has put, and if you remember a couple modules before, you saw all the keywords on the home page, and you're going to notice those keywords right here. So this is what the web designer has put, or the owner has put in as their keywords. And then if you move left to right, it's going to run an analysis on the keyword. So anyone Google searching Limerick, Pennsylvania, this business's website is going to show up on page 4, spot number 8, and basically position number 48. And so 3,600 people on average in the United States are going to search for Limerick, Pennsylvania, and they are going to search for that term on average in the United States. And from that, so this column basically looks at the monthly traffic derived from here, and then how you rank, so where your website will show on the Google positioning, and give you an estimation on how many people we believe to click through the website based upon your ranking and the amount of people that search for it on a monthly basis. The other thing it's going to provide on the far right is the difficulty score. So the higher the number, up to 100, the more difficult score. So the more broader word, typically that means the more difficult score. But the broader, you're going to get a lot more broader results. So it won't be as niche. And then you're going to notice here, potentially you're going to get the cost per click it would be to run an advertisement in Google PPC for that word. So if we were to create a Google advertisement inside Google for Limerick, Pennsylvania, or Limerick, PA in this specific example, it would be 19 cents a click. We ran one for car dealerships, which is going to be, and typically if you don't see a location associated with it, so in this example, car dealers, it's typically going to use a nearby proximity for that search. So local within either 30, 40, 50, 60 miles, kind of depends on the area. 91 people are just blanketly searching in Google on their phones. 91 people are searching car dealerships. And we're not even found on Google, so that means we're not found in the top 100 results. But if you were to run an advertisement for that, a very competitive word at 60%, a little over 60%, it's going to cost you $3.53 a click. And not a lot of people are searching for it. So what this tells me is, it wouldn't be really a good word I would want to A, advertise for a PPC advertising campaign, and B, even for organic SEO, even if we were on position 1, we were the very first person, only 91 people search for that. So at most, we could get 91% of the traffic. And as we well know, even if you're number 1 on Google, or 2, or 3, or 5, not everyone clicks on the first listing on Google. So this tells me this wouldn't be a word I would go after. If we scroll through, I'm looking at the keywords that they've optimized, that they put in the website, and looking at that, I mean, really, this would be the only word, but it's so broad, it's not talking about dealerships. And if someone's looking to pay their bill at Limerick, we're going to get that traffic. So how relevant is 3,600 people to cars? Probably not significant. So same with Royersford. What I would probably do is I would focus on these used car numbers. And what this would do, it looks like used cars was there twice, but 600 people are going to search for that, and it's usually within the proximity of 30 to 60 miles. And I wouldn't pay $2 a click. I would go organic, and I would try to build this out so we could be on the first page of Google. And hopefully we could end up capturing 300 to 400 people out of the 673 people that search for that locally every single month. Now let's move down a little bit further, and the next section of this audit is going to show the up to top 5 Alexa keywords. So again, I told you before, Alexa is a big database of information, particularly holding all the information about all the websites and where they rank and what their keywords are and what they're known for. And up to 5. So it looks like if there was a 1-800 Alexa phone number to say, how does Chevy King, or what is Chevy King's top keywords that you would know them for? It looks like this would be the keyword. So Chevy dealers near me. So on average, people inside the area, so 135,000 people, are going to their iPhones, they're going on their desktop when they get home from work, and they're typing in Chevy dealers near me. That's a lot of people. And we rank on page 4, spot number 1. Again, not the first page, which we would love to do that. That's part of an SEO campaign. But because we're on page 4, number 1, and the volume is so high of searches on a monthly basis, 604 people are predicted, on average, on a monthly basis, to go to our website because of this keyword. So what this does is there's a bell curve. There aren't real hard statistics behind the actual bell curve numbers, but it's something loosely that anywhere from 50 to 70% of all the traffic is going to click within the top 5 or 3 results depending upon the keyword, and then it tapers off accordingly. So when you get down to basically page 3, 4, 5, even the bottom of page 1, depending on the keyword, the amount of clicks that actually go through to click that significantly drop to the point where you're talking on page 5 or 6, it's almost negligent. You're lucky if you get a click or 2 on your website, unless someone's really doing thorough research to find different vendors. Most clicks are happening within the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the top homepage, depending on the keyword and what the term is. So with that, we're lucky enough that we're on page 4, and we're still getting residual traffic from these searches. Could you imagine if we did an SEO campaign and got to page 1, maybe got to the top 5 results, maybe got to page 1, number 1, we might be getting close to 8,000 people just from this keyword. So absolutely, I would go after this keyword from an SEO perspective. The score isn't that bad, so it's not too competitive, and that might be because maybe Chevrolet is more competitive, or other people, there might be other words out there. So Google's ranking at 46 out of 100 in terms of its competitive. Now, if you notice here, the cost per click is $5.18, and that's because there's a lot of traffic. So Google recognized, hey, we can make $5 a click for people that want to advertise Chevy dealers near me. I would not spend that. So if you just do simple math, you're talking close to $3,000 for a campaign of close to 600 people. So I would not spend $3,000. Now again, in this, you have to kind of evaluate what's your return on the investment and figure out what the average car is. So out of 600 people, they actually click on the site, 300 come in, half of that, 150 will set up a test drive, half of that, let's say 75 people are interested, half of that, you're talking 30 people, and then half of that, you can close it. Maybe you're talking 4 or 5 deals out of that one particular keyword, and if the average deal is going to yield you $1,000, okay, well, we've made our money off of $3,000, so maybe price per click at $5 or $3,000 for this keyword is relevant. But again, that's something you're going to want to consult and look at, what is your net profit on a particular deal, and what is the return on the investment. And that might be something you need to talk to a marketing agency to understand. Is PPC or is SEO better, or a blend of both, and depending upon what you're trying to sell. The next section you're going to see here is the most searched phrases for your website. So and you'll see a date here. What this date is this means that as of 10/18/2018 at 1 o'clock in the morning, our technology went out and reached into Google's database and said, Google, give me all the statistics about the people searching for ChevyKing.com. And these are the results you're looking at. So these are the top searched phrases that customers are typing into Google and Bing and Yahoo and AOL and landing on and finding the website. So let me explain that again. Someone is going to Google and they're typing in PA Chevy dealers. And again, it's pulling a 30 to 60 mile radius around them via using Google's geolocation technology. We are on number 3 of Google, which is the first page, spot number 3. 2,400 people locally are searching for that PA Chevy dealers. And because we're number 3 and 2,400 people search for it, our algorithm is predicting about 136 people to ultimately click on to our website and browse about the site. It's not as competitive. Google's charging $3 a click, so I wouldn't go after the cost. I wouldn't do any PPC for this word. But purchase Chevy, 10 people searching. Let's see some of the low-hanging fruit. So it's a heavy word. You know, this one might be, right? 110 people are going to search for it. It's only $1 a click. So if we were to show up, we're only get 1 click because we're almost on page 5 here for used cars in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. If we were on page like 1 or in the top 3 results, we might be getting like 50 clicks from it. But I might throw a PPC campaign. It's only $1. And if we can capture 50 more people, which can convert into 2 deals, you know, it might be worth that extra, $200 to run a PPC spend. So this really kind of helps you understand how people are searching and finding you. The age-old question, if I called Google and said, how do people find me? These are the words that people are using to find you. So the trailing phrases are going to be the machine learning or the AI words that are derived from your most searched phrases. And these words might be words that you already rank for, or these may be words that are considered low-hanging fruit that you should talk to your marketing professional about optimizing for. So I'm going through, and there's a handful of words in this example, a lot of them. And if you notice, it's going to go from the words that you rank first to the ones that you rank the least. So these, you're on page 5. You're way out there, and you're not getting any traffic from these people. But let's kind of look at just some of the, I wouldn't, unless you're ranking bad, so maybe 8, 9, 10, I wouldn't focus on some of these words. Here's one I might focus on actually. Because we get 2,400 people searching for PA Chevy dealers, and I get 70 people because I'm number 6, I wonder if we were in the top 3 results, so up in here, that's such a high number, we might actually be getting, a couple hundred people from it. And the word, Google's charging $7.58 for that keyword. So that tells me that's a pretty robust word. I might consider doing some organic SEO to move that word up. Scroll down here. Here's another 2,400 Chevy dealers PA, top of page 2. So page 1, spot 2. So basically page 2 at the top. 2,900. That's another hotbed one. You're not getting anyone because you're so far on page 2. If you were on page 1 and spot 5, you might be getting a couple hundred people, maybe even a few thousand. So you go through and you can look at these and find the ones that get a lot of traction, don't have a huge difficulty score, potentially have a high dollar amount, which means Google recognizes it as a highly valued keyword and a highly searched keyword. Here's a big one. Chevrolet dealerships locally to the region. Almost 10,000 people search for that. $6 a click, 52 out of 100 in terms of its difficulty score. And if you look here, 48, we're on basically page 5, bottom of page 5. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying, hey, if we were on page 1, could we get 2,000 pickups on the website additional? Could that yield an extra 7 deals, which is potentially an extra $70,000 to $80,000 or $1.5 million potentially, or $1 million on our bottom line? I'm not sure. Maybe we could, but just by focusing on that one word, knowing how many people search for it and where we are, potentially we could move $1 million on the bottom line. So that's just, again, quick findings and looking at an SEO audit. And these do change over time, so you are going to want to check back periodically as the snapshots will roll every 10 to 15 days. So you'll see a new snapshot about 15 days from today. and you'll see new rankings and ratings on what you're doing. So you want to periodically try to print these out and make sure you keep a copy and you're following your keywords. The next thing we're going to do is run a competitive domain audit against one of our sister dealerships and show you what their keywords look like. And what this is going to be able to do is allow a customer or a competitor of yours, you can look at their keywords and help kind of derive what may be low-hanging fruit opportunities. If they are a competitor, if they're a customer, it might help you identify potentially what that customer's keyword indexes look like and help you, kind of power partner the keywords that you're working with in conjunction to the customers you serve. What this just did was run a very similar audit that we just saw for the main website against a competitive URL. So if we take a look here, again, it's going to go through and show the meta keywords on that website and the potential Google rankings, monthly search volume. Our algorithm will compute the number of clicks that will come to the website based upon these two columns, difficulty score, and cost per click. Now, one thing I want to showcase again is if it does say not found, what this typically means is that that keyword is not falling within the first 100 or 10 pages of Google or 100 rankings. So we just put a not found because at that point, after 10 pages, you're really not going to get any traffic whatsoever, and the algorithms only go so far. So when it says not found, that just means that you're really not ranking to any capacity. And secondly, if you do see zeros, you do have to understand that a zero, at least in the difficulty and the cost per click column, they don't necessarily mean that it's not difficult or it's $0 to Google. What this is also meaning, potentially there's not enough historical data inside the Google and Bing databases to derive what a cost per click ad would look like for that keyword. And that might be because the word is just so negligent in terms of search volume that it doesn't make sense for Google to figure out what that per click is because it's just not searched that much. And as well as the difficulty, it could just be, again, because there's no historical values to cross-reference that keyword in a difficulty scale. Again, going through at the bottom, you'll see the Alexa top 5. You'll notice our sister site doesn't have, if you were to, again, go to Alexa and take a look at their database, it doesn't look like our sister site is ranking for those top keywords. But if you had searched and you take a look at the Google algorithm that ran for the top phrases, these would be those top phrases searched. Monthly search volume, again, please notice the zeros, and again, that might be because Google's database may not have historical data to back up the total number of searches because it's niche or because it's unique. And then potentially the algorithm that determines how many people are going to throughput to the site. So out of 480, we're on the top of the bottom of page 1, spot 10, and we ballpark to have 9 people click through the website. So again, low-hanging fruit right there, and you can see it's $1.88 a click, as well as it looks like that might be a competitive word. And why I would say that is, even though the difficulty score is high, Google has recognized that a lot of people do tend to search for that, and they're suggesting $2.88 a click. Again, going through looking at the trailing phrases, you can see here it's going to use an AI algorithm that's going to cross-reference the keywords above and derive other keyword combinations that might make sense that you rank for, and other ones that may be low-hanging fruit that you should consider to go after. So just a great way to understand your competitors and what keywords they may be going after and what their rankings look like. Next thing I'm going to do is go back to this screen, and I'd like to run a competitors audit. And what this will do is this is going to take a look at all my keywords as a business and find other companies, up to 10 companies, that match the same keyword and index profile that we relate similar to, and show that competitor domain information based upon organic competitors in the space that might be taking my traffic based upon similar keywords. And so that might take a handful of minutes to go through and peel back all my competition. So what we're going to see here is our various different competitors. So you'll see the domain name It is clickable, so you are able to click and open up and view that particular customer. But you'll see the domain name, and again, you'll see the meta keywords, the Alexa top 5, the most search phrases, and those trailing phrases. And we will see our second SEO competitor. Same thing, Meta, Alexa top 5, top search phrases, and your trailing phrases. And if you work your way down, you're going to see more than likely up to 10 competitors. So the final thing I'm going to showcase is our keyword audit or keyword assessment tool here. So if I click on this, it's going to ask for a corresponding keyword relative to potentially the business. And so what I would like to do here is run an assessment on this keyword, Patriot Chevrolet, against our domain name. And so as this is cross-referencing the various Google databases, did find the word, found we ranked number 1. Because it is a business term and not necessarily a product or service, there's not enough historical information in Google's database to come up with the search volume. Consequently, we're not going to have any type of computation on the total number of clicks because we don't have volume. And it looks like we couldn't determine the difficulty score, the cost per click. Again, that's not uncommon because we're looking at particular keywords in reference to the business. So what I'd like to do then is show you another keyword, and let's just take the word, let's say our sister dealership, patriotbpg.com. And what I'd like to do is cross-reference that against just GMC. So in this example, I'm saying, hey, look, this is my competition. I'd like to see if they were rank for this word because I'm thinking about going after this word. And I will press search, and this will run a keyword assessment of that word against my competition. So keyword ranking for Patriot BPG, GMC, and so it looks like Patriot BPG is not ranking, and that's because that's such a broad word. You're going to get General Motors and stuff really owning that particular keyword phrase, and because of that, the Google monthly search volume is not going to be revealed because, again, it kind of falls under business information, not necessarily like a particular product or service, and you'll see that across the board. But very kind of broad terms relative to product or service are going to come through. And this is how you can use the keyword assessment tool to kind of play off words that you're thinking about ranking or going after for your own domain, or using it as a competitive assessment piece to understand potential keywords that your competition may or may not be using and looking at the rankings and what that's going to do for the business.